Well, hello. What's up, party people? Welcome to Adventures with the Allens. My name is Sam. This is Madison. This is our intro video. Welcome. So we're going to be talking today about how we met, also our age difference, our relationship, and those kind of things. We get a lot of questions all the time, and so we wanted to just address them right now at the beginning of the video. So, did you want to start and talk about yourself and how we got introduced?
Yeah, so my name's Madison. I'm 20. I'm really into art.
Where are you from?
I'm from Colorado Springs, born and raised. I am a full-time student right now. I'm going to school for business, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Your turn.
Well, my name is Sam. I'm actually from Michigan. I grew up in rural Michigan and then moved into Kalamazoo and lived there for a while. I really like art, martial arts, business, finance, mythology, politics, all kinds of stuff. I've studied a lot of different things. I'll be 41 in May. And so I moved out here about 7 years ago to Colorado Springs, just looking for a better financial situation. I was working at restaurants then, and it was just a lot better then. Since then, because of COVID, obviously I haven't been able to work there. But yeah, and I love Colorado. I bought a house here 5 years ago, so obviously I'm not leaving anytime soon. It's a great state. So, and then how we met is actually we worked together. We started working together at Blackberry Diner, just right around the corner from the house actually. And yeah, when did you start working there?
I want to say it was like June 28th of like 2018. I wasn't old enough to serve alcohol, so that's how I remember when I started working there. I was a host. It was right down the street from where I lived. My grandparents live right up the street from there too. So I wanted to work there because it was right down the road. It was my first restaurant job, so it was really exciting for me. I had just left a fast food job. I obviously was shy, because you know you're shy when you first start working at a new place. Hosting was really fun, and Sam was a server. When did you start working there?
I started working there, well, I got hired on June 10th, and then I started working, I think I had like orientation later that week, and then started working that weekend. At that point, I'd already been working in restaurants for 10 or 11 years, and I'd worked at Cracker Barrel for just about 3 years. And so the menus were really similar between the two restaurants, so it was a really easy transition. And I started working there in June, and it was a really nice little restaurant to work in. It was really easy. I'd been doing some full service dining or fine dining before that, and so it was a really easy restaurant to wait tables at. And yeah, I applied there one day, and then I also applied to be a trimmer another day, or that same day, and actually got both jobs on that one day. It was a lucky day. And we didn't really interact at all for the first several months that I was there. And we had like one interaction where right when she first started hosting, she didn't really know rotation, and she filled up my entire section and then gave me a party. And I went out and I got a little heated and was kind of like, hey, you know, like, quit seating me. Why do you give me all these tables? And she was like, all right, fine. And then like I felt bad, and later I went and apologized about it. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm sorry for being a prick like that. And that, I think, in her eyes, is probably one of the first times that she was like, oh, this guy's actually, he's a nice dude. You know, he feels bad when he hurts someone's feelings. You know, it's good quality. And so, yeah, and then we worked together for quite some time. And then, like, we slowly kind of started, like, joking around and becoming friends and stuff like that. And then you were the first one to message me.
Yeah. So my high school does a thing, or my old high school did a thing with Carrabba's. They did like, it was like dinner and jazz music with the band at my high school, and I just wanted a reason to talk to him, honestly. I messaged him and just asked him questions about the Carrabba's night and if he'd ever worked that or stuff like that, and I mentioned the chocolate dessert and he corrected me, and I just thought that was funny. And that was the end of that conversation.
It's the Sogno di Cioccolato.
Yeah.
All right. It's the chocolate. It's the chocolate dream. Okay. And it is a chocolate dream.
Oh my god. It is. It makes me so sick, but I eat it every time we go.
It doesn't make me sick. It makes me happy.
So after that, we kind of, like, we were friends on Facebook, and I'm not even gonna lie, I like stalked his Facebook every morning. I woke up to like see what he shared all day. I still do it, but that's beside the point. So basically we messaged every now and then. There was a night that things did not go very well at the diner. He was pretty angry at one of our managers.
Yeah.
Because he always got the hardest side work, it felt like, for him.
I felt like I was getting like a little singled out because I was like the newest server there, and so I think they were like putting me through the ringer a little bit to see like what I could stand. And so this night they were really testing me and pushing my buttons, and I was containing my anger and my temper, but she could tell that I was like not in the happiest of moods.
Yeah. And I had started giving all the servers hugs at the end of my shift, just because that's who I am and I like to give hugs and it's nice. And so I went back into the back room where he was eating, and I was like, all right, I'm going. And he was like, no, I don't want a hug. And I was like, okay. And so I remember I like backed out slowly, and I just kept looking at him, and he finally was just like, okay. And so we talked, and he told me, and then I gave him a hug and I left. And then, I can't remember if it was the next day or a few weeks after that, but I asked him if everything was okay, like if he was still mad.
It was just a couple days. It was
Yeah.
just a few days afterwards.
And he said he was fine and all that. And I just remember, like, at work, I would always, he would, okay, he did it on purpose. He would do things to, like, test me to see if I listened to him. So one time, he's an author, if you guys didn't know. He's writing a book.
Series of books, yeah.
A series of books. But he had told me one day that he was going to go home and print out his entire book. And then a few weeks later, he said he was going to go print out his book. And I was like, you said you were going to do that a few weeks ago. And he told me a while ago that was a test to see if I listen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tried to talk to him, like message him. He was always asleep when I would message him. So then he would feel bad and not message me back because he'd feel like he would wake me up. Because he's an insomniac.
Insomnia.
So he doesn't...
I'd be up, 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm like, you can't message people at 3 or 4 in the morning. That's just not considerate. You're kind of in no man's land. So I would just wait till the next day. And it was actually funny because I didn't have any of the notifications on my phone for anything, because I don't like notifications. I don't want to be woken up or interrupted or anything. And so she's like finally yelling at me, like, please turn the notifications on your phone so you know when I message you. I was like, okay, all right, I can do that. And then that kind of changed, and I had gotten out of a really bad relationship a few years before that, and she was getting out of a really bad relationship too, very abusive and toxic. And so we had a lot to talk about that, relaying our experiences and what we'd been through and all that kind of stuff and how we felt about it, and the things we did like in relationships, what we appreciated and what we should be grateful for and stuff like that. And a couple of months went by, and we kept talking, and we just became friends. I'm a pretty difficult person sometimes to approach, especially to initiate any kind of like a friendship or anything like that. I'm kind of exclusive, kind of a little bit of a loner individual. But she just kept at it and was very persistent, but very patient and very kind. And so months later, we just kind of started like flirting a little bit here and there and talking here and there. And then she turned 18, and we got to talking like a little bit more. And it was within a couple of weeks after her turning 18 that we just decided that we should have the camera bumped by her dog.
Yeah.
But no, she's a sweetie, don't worry about it. But so that's really how everything kind of culminated. It really took about over a year of us being around each other to interact and figure out that we're similar people. We like a lot of the same like music and movies, and we're like constantly showing each other like different TikToks and YouTube videos and music and all kinds of stuff. And so that's something that has persisted through the relationship. And so it's been wonderful though, unlike really any other kind of relationship I've ever had. We're just both so thoughtful and sweet and considerate. It really is nice that we can match each other's energies a lot of the time. We can reciprocate 100%. That's not something you find in every relationship, and that is something you should look for. one of my favorite sayings is by a Chinese philosopher of the name Lao Wei, and he says, "Love begins when the needs of another become more important than your own." And we're both very selfless people, and so that came very naturally to us. And so just throw in some mutual respect and a lot of trust, and our relationship really is blossomed. So
Yeah, it's been 2 years, so.
yeah, 2 years
He's
as of
not
just a few
getting rid
days.
of me.
No, she's not getting rid of me too. She's got to deal with this insufferable old grumpy bastard forever. So.
Yep, which is fine.
But yeah, if you guys have any questions for us, if you want to delve more into our individual pasts, more into our relationship, how we do conflict resolution, any other kind of things, because we both definitely came from like different eras of music and movies and stuff. I grew up in the 80s. She grew up kind of like in the 2000s. And so there's, differences, but a lot of similarities as well. So please, if you guys have any questions, comment. We'll try to answer them as much as possible. We'll probably do a Q&A video here in a couple weeks to follow this up.
And there's not any questions you can ask that we haven't already heard. So.
We're open book for sure. We're totally open book. We're both very open people. Just try to stay respectful in the comments. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching Adventures with Alan. Again, my name is Sam.
My name is Madison.
And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks.